Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Political Smackdown. We're glad to have you with us. Well, this week on Monday, the Two Kings Casino lifted the final beam into place. The building was much more massive than I had ever imagined and includes a 24-story hotel with 385 rooms. The 2 million square foot structure is scheduled to open spring of 2027. Betsy, what's the long-term impact of this project to Cleveland County and surrounding counties? This certainly changed the landscape in that part of the county, hadn't it?
Oh, it's changed the landscape on my road. I mean, up and down my road, things are buying, being sold, and we'll see what happens more. But every time I go by the casino, when I do it, I have to go up that way. Seems like this casino gets broader and gets wider. I mean, and it's going to be this 24-story hotel. It's going to be the highest building on the East Coast almost, isn't it? From maybe New York to Florida or whatever. But I'm just so sorry that I was not in town. I would have been there on Monday because I'm really excited about seeing it. But I had heard that they were going to have the part of the casino open next April, but I figured that looking at the massiveness of this construction. But think about the jobs that it brings. And going up and down 85, you just jump off, you go in and play, and then you get back on. I mean, the lots are filled even now, and what will it be like when it's finished? I mean, it's just something that's going to really add jobs and notoriety to Cleveland County, to our end of Cleveland County.
Andy, you can see in the video right here that those little red buildings that we thought were so massive, you can really see how big this facility is now.
Oh, it is. Well, and people have asked me, said, which is the casino, which is the parking deck, and what's that other building? And I said, I don't know yet. We're slowly seeing, but every time I go past there going either to Gastonia, Charlotte, or coming back, you see something different. Mm-hmm. Like the other week, I saw somebody, they actually had eaten an air in on one side of it. And I'm assuming that's where the hotel was, but I don't know that. It probably could be the casino. I mean, it's hard unless, I've never had anybody just sit there and point, this is a hotel, this is the casino, this is the sort of back room stuff where they have all the, the actual behind the scenes stuff going on. But it amazes me that something like this has ever even thought about coming to Cleveland County. I mean, it just absolutely floors me. But the Chief Bill Harris made a comment that I've been trying to run down, but nobody knows anything about. He says they're going to build another one. And that's the first time it's been mentioned it. Well, that's the thing.
He said they've already got a place.
Yeah, but he just dropped it, and that's why I've been trying to find somebody that maybe could tell me, or I can't imagine they're going to try to build another one right there. That's just, I mean, I've heard some casinos that you have, Caesars in Las Vegas is one. It's been there so long, they've added on and got basically two casinos connected together. But I have no idea. I don't know if they're going to try to do something maybe with the Lumbees. Now it looks like they've got national recognition from the feds. Hopefully they can do it a little smoother than what it has been here. I mean, this has been a rough learning curve, Wes, for them. And it seems like the Cherokees didn't have any of that. I mean, I don't know if there's ever any question about any kind of skullduggery going on or people making money that shouldn't have been making money and that sort of thing. But I hope the Catawbas now have got that under their belt. They see where mistakes were made. They see what things were done right that they need to continue doing. But if I had to bet money right now, I just can't help but think maybe they might end up doing something with the Lumbees.
Well, and the fact that it was the Cherokees that fought it so badly in our end.
Oh, it's going to kill their Atlanta market terribly, because if you ever watch the Braves, they're always right there. They've got huge signs along the walls. I mean, Atlanta is one of their biggest. You thought it'd be Charlotte, it's Atlanta. And if you ever go, I had been up there in several years, but when you go through the parking deck, it's Georgia plate, Georgia plate, Georgia plate. And because it's so easy for them to get there.
Yeah. Mike, it's been a long time coming. It's something to see.
385 hotel rooms in Kings Mountain area of North Carolina.
It's almost unbelievable,
That
isn't
is
it?
far more hotel rooms than
Yes.
are currently in Kings Mountain, North Carolina. Probably, if you just count the four newest hotels along the old bypass in Shelby, that's probably less than 300 rooms, 385 in one. And Andy, 2 million square feet under roof. That's nearly 50 acres. There's 43,560 square feet in 1 acre. That's 40-something acres that will be in that casino. It is humongous.
I think they said
And-
each floor would be 7 acres.
And I'm gonna tell you something else. To the degree that the new courthouse in Shelby kind of looks like it's awful large for the city of Shelby, that pales in comparison to what this looks like right there at the edge of Kings Mountain.
It's the scale that in Shelby, the Justice Center, everything else is so small it just dwarfs everything.
It does.
It really does.
Well, this dwarfs everything.
This
A 21-story hotel. and
Oh, but I'm
casino.
telling you, but now that you can see that, just like the other
Yeah.
week, Wes had a picture from Pinnacle. They could see it, the construction cranes.
I want to tell you where the political mistake was made in Kings Mountain, in my humble opinion. Maybe not so humble.
No.
When Cleveland County was trying their best to bring the casino to the Kings Mountain area, what was the Kings Mountain City Council doing? Fighting it, remember? One of the council members and the then mayor were against it for so long and fought it so hard. And then Cleveland County got it done and made all of these intra-local governmental agreements, which now Kings Mountain wishes they had. You know what they say, if you're gonna fight the king, you better.
You bet. If
better
you're going to shoot
kill
the
him.
king, you better not miss.
Yeah, but anyway, on an economic scale, it's gonna be wonderful for Cleveland County
It
and for
is.
Kings Mountain in a general way. And I've never set foot in it, don't know if I ever will, but it is a massive undertaking.
I can tell you one thing about the current thing. They have the cleanest restrooms of anything you could ever go in. They are putting their best foot forward, because I judge a place by how clean the restrooms are. Because if they're taking care of that, everything else is going to be as it should be.
As far as skullduggery goes, it's been rumored in the past. Didn't you watch the Godfather series?
Oh, absolutely. Somebody made them an offer they couldn't refuse. And it's funny you said that. I started watching them all again the other week. I didn't have nothing to do on the weekend. They still stand the
They
test
do.
of time.
They do stand the test.
If you've not been by to see it, it's worth taking a minute to drive by, and it's really not that far out of the way if you're going to Gastonia or Gaffney or somewhere. Just shoot on down through Earl, and you'll get there.
Well, the main thing is don't stop in the middle of the interstate. If you want to look, because that sometimes it actually slows traffic. That become a choke point.
Oh, I'm
And
sure.
so, because of that.
So if you're driving through the country and come up on a Uptown Charlotte building,
So if you do want to look at it, please pull over the side of the road or get off at exit 5 and park somewhere.
Or expect as you come up 85 or down 85, now you see it from afar and know that it's going to be there, and don't slow down and just keep on going, or come on in and play the tables and make some money, maybe.
You're just being an
I'm being
optimist.
optimist, yes.
we're recording on Halloween, October 13th, this 31st, it's Friday. So Election Day will be here by the time most of you watch the program. So this is our day for predictions. We'll see who will embarrass themselves the most and who's the most right with predictions. Let's start with a few races. Mike, you brought up Kings Mountain. I think that's the place to start. We've got, there are 3 seats coming up in Kings Mountain. We've got an at-large council seat, and then Ward 2 and Ward 3. One of the interesting dynamics here, running for the at-large, you have an incumbent, you have a former council member and a former mayor, plus 2 others that I don't know, all vying for the same seat. You want to step out and make a prediction on this one or anything else in Kings Mountain?
Well, up until 2 or 3 days ago, I wasn't real sure where that at-large race would go. You have 5 people in it. most people believe that the race is between Phil D., who is an incumbent by virtue of last December having been appointed to fill the unexpired term of Dave Allen. And so he's on the ballot this year. And Scott Neisler, who was defeated by about 70 votes in his mayoral campaign for re-election 2 years ago, decided to run for this at-large seat. Unlike 2 years ago, Andy, there's evidence Scott has really worked this time. Mr. D is working. Mr. D is a business person. He's a retired military person, very smart man. Scott has a lot of knowledge about it. But dear Lord, this is the nastiest race I've ever seen in Kings Mountain, and I've watched Kings Mountain for years. I mean, they're calling each other bad stuff. Scott's felt recently of late to have to get on Facebook and do a live thing defending his integrity, because it's being attacked over there by different people. And I'm not saying Mr. D's attacking it, but it's being done on Facebook. But one of the things I've noticed is after church Sunday, go to church in Kings Mountain, I rode through the country club area, and Neisler had far more signs in different yards than D. And then I'm looking on Facebook, and Mr. D has 150-something followers of his Kings Mountain for City Council. Mr. Neisler has 1,400. So I would be surprised if Mr. Neisler doesn't have the most votes. But because there are 5 people in the race, I don't know that anybody gets 50%. So on that one, that's sort of the way I see it. But hey, I've been wrong before.
More than once, I think we all have. Andy, any thoughts on that, the at-large, or either of the other 2 seats, Ward 2 and Ward 3?
Well, here's an interesting fact that people might not think, if they think about it, they realize 2 of the people at this at-large have been on Political Smackdown as a guest host.
That's true.
Curtis Presley and Scott Neisler.
Well, that ought to do them both in, huh?
Well, I mean, Curtis has been elected. He's one of these guys that, and you see it a lot. Some people, they'll win a while, then they'll lose, and they'll come back. And that's just the rhythm of politics. Scott, I mean, I've known Scott forever. Know his brother Andy, is a real estate attorney. In fact, had a closing over there a few weeks ago, and had Scott sign at a yard. I said, "You really gonna vote for that guy out there?" He said, "Well, of course I am." I said, "Well, what's his platform?" He said, "Well, I need to find out a little bit more about it, shouldn't I?" I said, "Well, brothers vote for brothers. I mean, that's just how that works." But I don't know. I don't know this Jason Nail. Never heard of him. Bruce King, that name is familiar, but I can't place him. Phil D, I've never met, but as Mike said, he's appointed. I don't know, but I don't follow the municipal races like Mike does. But I'm going to tell you something. If I was talking to our friend Wayne King on the way over here to try to get a feel for it, and he said it has really been tough on both of them. And where the chips fall, it's going to just be, can you get your people to turn out? That's going to be the thing of it.
Well, Betsy, we're coming up on a break, but let's go ahead and wrap this up. One of the interesting things, particularly with the at-large with 5 people running, this is a plurality race.
Yes.
So it's not going to take a majority.
No.
It's not even going to take 40%.
No.
It takes one more
Most
vote
votes.
than anybody
One
else.
more.
Give us your thoughts on this and any other race in Kings Mountain.
Well, I know that Curtis is working hard, and I've seen his signs, and, you know, he has a lot of family in Kings Mountain and so forth. I've known Scott Neisler for years. He always has been a friend. Phil D, I know vaguely because his wife was one of the distinguished women year before last. But I think it bothers me when you come down and have knockdown, drag-out fights over politics here at the end.
Especially when it's that local.
Who's
When it's
going to
that
win,
local.
Betsy, you going to say?
Nope, not going, because it's like Andy says, it's all who gets out the vote.
Well, quickly, Wes, in the other race in Ward 2, less than 100 votes may win that. Mike Butler's the incumbent, Tyler Fletcher and Tim Sanders. Mike Butler shouldn't win because he voted not to lower the tax rate in the reevaluation year, but I kind of think he will because less than 100 votes can win, and he's got name recognition. He's been there
Yes.
forever. And there's 3 people in a other race. and Scott and I are supporting one of them, and there's a paralegal female, Heather Lemon, and Chris Pullen. I have no way of reading that race.
Well, Keyshawn Strong, I know, and he's been working and putting his signs up.
But he's 22 years old.
But he's 22 years
Something like
old.
that.
And your point is only the ward votes, unlike
the
the
ward
city of
votes.
Shelby where the entire
Whole
city votes for a
all the
seat.
ward seats.
So that certainly makes a difference, especially if there's a low turnout.
Well, it'll be a
With
it'll be
what's
a
going on in
reasonable-
Kings Mountain, I think it'll be a fair
a
turnout.
good turnout in a municipal election is 25%.
Yeah.
That's an excellent turnout.
Yeah, in a municipal election.
Well, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Cakes and cookies, toys and gifts, Christmas at your fingertips.
It's the shopping event of the season, the Southern Christmas Show, November 13th through 23rd at the Park Expo and Conference Center. Experience Santa's workshop, brimming with timeless childhood delights, twinkling lights, and festive cheer. Buy tickets early and save at southernChristmasShow.com.
Let's go to the Southern Christmas Show.
Washington Outreach Ministries is one of the largest emergency food pantry in Cleveland County. We feed about 15,000 people a month. We have bi-weekly distribution every other Friday, and we serve them with all type of product, not just food product, but all type of necessities. Anything that they need, we have here and we can supply it. Food is available every day, but we offer bi-weekly distribution so the mass of Cleveland County can come through and enjoy some of the food products that we have here.
Just
Welcome
about-
back. Well, we talked about some local races of interest. Let's move on to some other states where a race may have some national implications. Let's start with the Virginia governor's race. This race pits a Democrat, Abigail Spanberger, who previously represented Virginia's 7th congressional district, against the Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears. Andy, what do you see happening in this race?
Well, my good friend Abigail sends me at least 20 emails every day. I had to look her up to see who it was. I didn't even know what she was doing. But she's, if I remember correctly, she's a former congresswoman, and she has been ahead for the most part. And there's been some kind of blow up with the Attorney General candidate, some ugly things that the Democrat that he supposedly said, and there's some discussion, well, if that put a drag on the whole ticket.
Well, he said the congressman, the Republican, and his family should be killed.
I couldn't remember
I thought it was
exactly.
Yeah,
just
that's
the
an ugly thing.
congressman.
Yeah, congressman.
Not that that's,
Well, it is ugly,
it is
and you
ugly.
know, and it should, and he ought to be
and it's
disqualified.
like, what, 2 or 3 years ago that
Yeah,
this
it's been a
happened?
while. Well, I couldn't support him for saying something like, I just cannot. But I hope it doesn't affect other candidates that are not guilty of any of this.
But she wouldn't condemn him,
And
your
that's,
governor candidate, and that's
I
a
didn't know if
issue.
she ever did or not. I knew it last time I heard she had not. And be honest, she probably should, and just cut the tie and let it go where it goes, because it's more important to have her there than it is the Attorney General in my book. And he still may end up winning. I mean, I think it was pretty nip and tuck, because, I mean, let's face it, Virginia.
He's a little behind in the polls, and your Democratic governor candidate several points ahead in the polls.
But when
whatever that
you
means.
really get down to it, Virginia's changed so much. It was such a staunch Republican state, and then over the last, 10, 15 years,
really
it has switched, just as Colorado has. So,
As soon as Trump gets rid of enough bureaucrats, it might change back.
Oh, Betsy, you're just back from Virginia,
I'm
I
back from
think.
Virginia,
I
from
do.
Northern Virginia.
It is interesting that we were berated by former President Obama for not voting for a black woman for president, but yet he's in Virginia campaigning against a black woman running for governor. Give us your thoughts on this race.
Well, I'm sure President Obama evaluated both candidates and went with the best one, better one.
Yeah, one of
But
them
I
had a D
was-
by her name.
well, what else do you
What
need,
else?
Mike? I mean, what you think he's gonna do something else?
Yeah, and I was, like I said, I was up there all week, and my son lives in Northern Virginia, which is a very, very, very blue part of the state. And this was a hotly discussed topic, more so about the Attorney General. But I think that the Democrat will win the governor's race. I don't know about the Attorney General, but from what I could see and what I could hear, it was going to be a Democratic for governor.
Mike, anything to add to this one?
The biggest hope that the Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears has to upset has to do with that Attorney General and linking that governor candidate to it. And just tell me, are there enough black Democrats who want to see a black female governor to switch over? That's possible, but apparently not likely. But I'd say she has a chance, but if I had to put $10 on it, I'd bet the Democrat wins.
All right, Betsy, back to you. New Jersey governor. In New Jersey, the Republican hopeful Jack Cantarelli, I think I'm saying that right, is running a close race against the Republican Mikey Sherrill. Have a prediction in the race for New Jersey governor?
I think Mikey will win out. She has a very credible background, and it's going to be a close race. And for a little state like New Jersey, it certainly has emphasis for our whole governor's race and the Democratic Party and so forth. I think that we'll be safe with Mikey Sherrill as the Democratic governor.
Mike?
I think the Republican has a better chance of winning in New Jersey than in Virginia. It's a little tighter in the polling data, coming on a little bit, and New Jersey is an interesting state. The last Republican governor in New Jersey was Chris Christie. I think that's the underdog, and I wouldn't just say I'd put money on it, but I think we have a better chance for the Republican to win in New Jersey than in Virginia.
I tend to agree with you. Andy, you putting money on one of these?
Well, if I was going to put money on, if I went to a sports book, which I do not, I would probably put a little bit of money on the Democrat candidate, just because that's how New Jersey tends to trend.
That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I would. Now I wouldn't put much, Bessie, so forgive
Maybe
me on
$5.
that. Maybe I was going to go 10, but
10, okay.
but I mean that one is going to be tight.
The other race that's really been in the news is the New York mayor's race. Maybe the most watched race in the country, and many claim it will determine the direction of the Democrat Party. We've got three candidates in this race, a Democrat, a Republican, and an independent. Andy, what do you think of the New York mayor's race?
Well, this is a little bit of everything. There you got our Democrat, who's an avowed socialist. Then the Republican, this is a guy that started, what was the name of it, something Angels, where they actually patrolled. They had the red beret like he's got. He started this with sort of a citizens patrol thing to protect when New York's crime just went through the roof. I'm surprised he's not getting more traction than he is. Andrew Cuomo, Lord help him. I mean, if he just kept his hands to himself and his mouth shut, he would have been a whole lot better. But I don't know how you resign under a sex scandal as governor and then come back and get elected mayor as an independent. I just don't see it in the cards. And as polling, the Democrat guy, I can't even pronounce his name, he's about double over him. I think Cuomo's about like 20. He and the Republican, he's about 25. The Republican, I think, is like 23. But the other guy, he's about 51.
There was one poll this week that showed Mondami only up by 10 over Cuomo, but that's just one poll.
One poll.
But consistently, the last one I heard was he doubled.
It's still
it.
double
Been
digits.
15 to 20.
Yeah.
Betsy?
Yeah, I think the Democrat will win. I think it's going to be a different day in New York. New York City's unique. And
I hope the Democrat
I
wins.
wish that Governor used to be Governor Cuomo, would have just, he did a good job with handling COVID, and then all this came out. He had to resign.
He did what?
He caused
He did
more
a good-
deaths than anybody.
No, he did not. Anyway, well, we
Goodness
have a
gracious,
whole
Betsy.
show that we can talk about that. But anyway, I can't imagine having to deal with New York during a time like that. But I just wish he'd have gone home and stayed with his family and not tried to make another run. And I heard, didn't President Trump come out and endorse him or said good
He
things
just said
about
he
him?
would be better than Mondami,
Okay.
which has to obviously be true.
We'll see. We'll see what
If I were in
happens.
that race west to get my 2 cents worth in, if I were going to vote for one of those three, it'd probably have to be Cuomo, just because he could have a chance and the Republican has no chance. And for the good of New York and the country, you don't need an avowed he's really not a Democrat, I'm sorry. He's a socialist.
Well,
Yeah.
But he's got big name Democrats from AOC and Bernie Sanders to now the Speaker of leader of the House
Jeffries.
of the Democrats and the leader of the Senate, Schumer, supporting him, and it points to bad things, in my opinion.
Did
for the
Schumer
next,
finally come out for
Yeah.
it? I missed. I knew
reluctantly.
the.
Well, and
Anyway.
that's I think
That's the story.
it is, and that's my takeaway as we're days before the election. I think this is a bellwether for the Democrat Party. If Mondami wins, the Democrats essentially have fully embraced socialism. If he loses, socialism may get pushed to the corners in the short term of the Democrat Party until, and of course, if he wins, the failures of his policies may push him to the side. But socialism is diametrically opposed to the Constitution. I don't see how an avowed socialist can take an oath of office in America.
Well, I don't know.
Go
how-
ahead, Betsy, you're trying.
I am. We have people in our party that are more socialist than, like Bernie Sanders and AOC.
But Bernie's
this
an
is
avowed
New York-
socialist as well.
Yes. This is New York
That
City.
means they believe the government should own the means of
No, that
production
is
and there
not
would be
on-
no private property
No,
is
that
what
is not
socialism.
right.
That's exactly
See,
the definition of it, Betsy.
Parts of it. The government
That's
comes
the-
in and does programs and helps people.
That's Democrats.
Well,
Socialists believe that the government owns the means of
And that's
production.
and
And
how
and
can
Madani
if-
does
if
believe
he gets
that.
elected, how can he do that in New York City? It's run by a mayor and it's run by a council.
The real question is, how could the people in New York City elect him if they don't believe that?
Well, we're going
Okay.
to move on. We've already had a little bit of thunder and lightning, but I think that's the point of this race. This really and truly is a bellwether, and I think it's going to set the tone for the Democrat
I
Party.
think it's going to put a Republican in the governor's mansion at the end of next year
We'll see.
I
in
think
New York City.
It
in
may
New
well
York,
could.
State of New York.
Let's move on to the lightning round. Mike, what have you got for us?
Well, will filing in North Carolina actually happen in December? After the legislature drew 2 new districts, there's already been added to the lawsuit. The Board of Elections of North Carolina has not taken a stance, but they said they have to know by December 1st in order for filing to happen in December.
Andy?
Wall Street Journal had an interesting article about North Carolina this week, and this is one thing Westwood that tariffs has helped. It's starting to restart our furniture business here in North Carolina as far, and that was a-
Stop the presses. Tariffs has helped something, Wes. Did you
Well,
understand what he
I'm
said?
being honest because now you've
I'm being quiet and letting Andy talk.
Let him.
well, because you've priced out the Chinese imports, and now you got a chance right here to make it North Carolina, where the problem they're having is finding the craftsmen that knew how to make it before.
And every consumer's going to pay more for it because you priced the Chinese out.
All right.
Is that a bad thing?
Go, Betsy.
Am I next? All right. I'd just like to take a moment and congratulate the JV Mountaineers football team who finished undefeated this year and won the 2025 Big South JV football champions, had 9-0 overall, and congratulations to the players and the coaches.
All right, that's going to do it for us. And yes, congratulations to that ball club, and always glad to see winners in Cleveland County. We'll see you back next week, and we'll find out who was right and wrong on some of these predictions. Hope you have a good week.